Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala barakatuh. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala syarafil anbiya wal mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Alhamdulillah, in the previous video I've explained to you roughly how we can go about with self-healing to overcome our challenges in terms of psychological problem, anxiety, depression, OCD, stress related trauma and so on. So how are we going to do this is I'm going to explain in greater detail today. But what is important, let's review that our understanding of the nature of the self back again, because within the science of neuroscience we know that memories are stored as changes in the synaptic connection. Alright, so we have within ourselves, we have our brain, 100 billion neurons connected to the synapses. Alright, the synapses, we have each of this is connected to each other like a network, and this network has more than 10 trillion synapses connections. So every single neuron may be connected to 1,000 to 10,000 other neurons through the dendrites and to all other parts of the brain. And this brain is now being connected forward and backward. The human body consists of 50 trillion cells. Alright, these cells, we have our liver cells, our skin cells, our brain cells as mentioned. All this is a package. This is the human cell. So our memories in terms of what is known within the field of circular neurology is that we store them as synaptic connection, experienced through thoughts, emotions and feelings. This is where we have the TEF cycle within the human cell. Alright, then triggers changes in our neural circuits. Alright, brains that trigger together grow together. So the more you reflect on your trauma and your difficulties, the more you become negative, and then you go into anxiety and depression. Alright, then if we do the other way around, we can have positive gene re-regulation, gene expression, and this is all possible. Why? Because we have influences. Not only that, we have the internal influences in terms of our physical environment, our intra and interpersonal environment, but we also have the environment from the outside. For example, if we say the environment for the outside, what environment? We are subject, for example, from the electromagnetic wave from the sun. We are subjected to, for example, UV light. We are subjected to the microwave from our handphones. Alright? All these are affecting us, affecting our brain, affecting our body, affecting our system. So these are external. So for we Muslims, the external influences comes from the realm of the qalb. Our heart, this is qalb al-kulli, that is linked to our qalb, our physical heart. So that's why now they have these studies of heart coherence. They only having the glimpse of how this is working together to make our neurons trigger in coherence and give a brainwave pattern that is high in alpha and theta and low in high beta. So all these are scientifically provable, because you can just log in the EEG sensors and then you can read out. Alright, and how through meditation, how when they reflect about the supreme creator, they reflect about God, how their brain become high alpha, and then the synapses is calm, and the whole body system is not stressed, no more fight and flight response. So because of that, we now know that we have epigenetics that is above and beyond that, and neuroplasticity that will then impact this. How does this impact? Okay, I've given you the understanding how the action potential happens in every one of your neuron from 970 millivolt, and then it has the extension potential and it comes down. It's either excitatory or inhibitory. So this action potential then will then trigger the necessary chemical reaction coming in from the various gate, whether it's the leak channel, voltage channel, chemical gate, from the synapses and so on. So then it will affect our cell. Alright, and then we have the sodium, potassium balance in terms of the voltage balance, so that we can then go to plus 30 millivolt and then it come down again the next signal and so on. So there is this neuron at resting potential, going to graded potential, then going to action potential. And this is what happened all the time. Billions and billions of times every second. Imagine billions and billions of times. This whole thing is happening in your brain cells, but there are influences. For example, if we have this external receptor, for example, they are receiving all these things here, they are changing this is the cell, changing the cell, and within the cell body you have the DNA and RNA replication. So then they export the RNA and out through messenger RNA, then it becomes the translation. So this gene regulation, expression and neuroplasticity now is a very huge research. Alright, so this shows that basically this RNA, if it is exported with a defect, can also be corrected through the environment. So what is the environment? A stress-free environment, an environment in which we are not dependent on our internal resources but our external resources. Alright, so from here I believe that there is a way for self-healing, in the sense that when we know that we can influence our gene, the physical body, that means we have within the Islamic approach, we have the SEMP cycle, SEMP, alright, and within ourselves we have the PMES. This is the physical cycle, this is the spiritual cycle. Alright, so I have explained this in the previous video, how we can harness the spiritual energy that Allah gives us in terms of what? Tawfiq, Hidayah, His love, His grace, His mercy, that it comes our heart, so our qalb, from our roh to our qalb, from our qalb to our akal al-kulli to akal al-juzi, and then it affects our physical body. So this physical body is nothing. This physical body can easily be corrected using the power of SEM. Alright, so we have this within the metaphysics of Islam. It is how we express, and from here you can have miracles. Oh, you say you believe in miracles? Yes. If you are a Muslim, you don't believe in miracles, how? Everything is a miracle. Your whole body system here, where your gene expression is going through billions of times every second, is a miracle. If you can see all these things, whatever that you have within your body is just one cell. Your one cell is equal to all the computers in the world. You take all the computers in the world, all the network, all the Facebook, all the WhatsApp, all the cloud, it's not even to one cell in terms of its capability. And it's all in teeny-weeny, very small. You know, one cell is just 1 over 1,000 of a hairline. Your hair is 1 over 1,000, 1 over 110,000. So it's very small. And it has all the genetic material, it has all the channels, it has all the homeostasis to make your cell balance and to make your body balance so that you get good health. So here we want physical health. But physical health can only come about with the coherence of your spiritual state, your raw coherence, your emotional state, your qalb coherence, and then your mental state, your M coherence. And then we work from the physical body. So for those who are ITC, they have only this physical body. For those who have gone further, they have, okay, you have a mind. You are using only 2 out of 4. We are using all 4. So we have a very powerful protocol or technique, which I'm propounding because we know these are within the framework of the metaphysics of Ahlus Sunnah wal Jama'ah, the metaphysics of Islam, and we can use this, for example, instantaneously start working to overcome. For example, you have anxiety. Instead of thinking of the anxiety, you start thinking about your connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, seeking His tawfiq, His hidayah, seeking His nur, and then you start having your heart the feeling of calmness by Asmaul Husna. For example, you recite Ya Allah, Ya Ghafur, Ya Wadud, Ya Ghafur, Ya Wadud, and so on. There are many other ru'yah that you can do in terms of recitation of the Quran, the various surah, the various dua of the Prophet, and so on, which you can use all of them. And then your mind become positive, your physical alignment then becomes aligned towards goodness, then you lose all sense of anxiety. That means you don't have anxiety anymore. You lose all sense of depression. You are just happy, healthy, inshallah also wealthy, having a good life. Islam wants you to have a good life. Islam wants you to create Jannah on earth. That's why we always say Rabbana atina fid dunya hasanah. The goodness of this world is not only for the non-Muslims. Naturally, there are certain sufferings. All of us go through, whether Muslims or non-Muslims, you go through. But if we can then overcome that suffering, instead of just pointing that suffering, we become depressed, we become having anxiety and ulcerated subset. We change that to have our feelings of satisfaction. We have the feelings of thankfulness to Allah, gratitude, the feelings of compassion for ourselves. Very important, because people who are committing suicide, they have no compassion for their own self. They don't believe that their self is of any worth, so they kill themselves. Alright, so compassion, gratitude, and all this meditation at the spiritual, emotional, mental level within the metaphysics of Islam is very, very powerful. And inshallah, if Muslim psychologists can harness this capability, we can change the whole field of psychology. The whole field of psychology is not a secular mental state. I'm giving you all these mental neurological studies, but we can link it with a higher force, higher than the quantum state. Now they're talking about quantum state at this 2 level, all right, or the divine matrix, whatever they want to call. They are just finding their way, but ultimately, it is the way of Islam that can bring us peace, happiness, and success in this world and in the hereafter. That is the promise of Allah. If you believe in the promise of Allah, you become a believer, rely on Him, because we are a creature of nothingness. This whole earth, we're talking about this cell, this whole earth is just one atom in the size of the physical universe. One atom is just like a hydrogen atom. You take a pinhead, a small pinhead, it is 1/1,000,000th of a pinhead, this physical earth. So we are living in a planet of nothingness. We are a creature of nothingness if we disbelieve in Allah. But we are a creature of somethingness, because Allah tells us, I create you to be my servant and my Khalifah, the vicegerent, to look at the grandeur of this existence and to look internally into ourselves and then realize, Subhanallah, walhamdulillah, wa la ilaha illallah, wallahu akbar, wa la hawla wa la quwwata illa billahil aliyyil azim. Then we accept this reality and then rely on Allah. Use the spiritual power that He's given to you, use the cult power that He's given you, use the akal power that He's given to you, and change your state from the state of anxiety, depression, fear, sadness, to the state of peace, happiness, tranquility, joy, fulfillment, success, and being an achiever in this world. Always striving to make ourselves good as a Caliph of Allah, striving to make ourselves good, helping others to be good, making the world good, inshallah.